Do you understand risk management? The type of risk management we're talking about today is, are you properly insured? Most people know they've got to have some type of insurance in their life. Most of us are going to have health insurance provided through our employers. And then if we drive a car, you're going to be required by your state to have some form of at least what's called liability insurance. So auto insurance is something almost everyone has to purchase. But have you ever really looked at your policy? Do you understand the different types of coverage that you have? You see, you have general liability coverage. That means if you get in an accident and harm someone else's property or create medical harm to someone and they need to have medical bills paid, you are liable for those expenses. So your liability insurance can cover those payments. You need to make sure you understand what deductibles you have on each line of coverage on your policy and what those deductibles are. And if you change them, it may change the pricing of your policy. Now, what if you actually damage your car? You're probably going to want to get it repaired. That's where you're going to have what's called comprehensive coverage. This comprehensive coverage is going to cover your vehicle. You're going to have collision coverage to get your body work redone, get the mechanics paid for, etc. And then you're going to have personal medical payments to pay your medical bills. Now, you don't have to have all these coverages depending on what state you live in. However, if you have financed your vehicle, in other words, there's a bank loan on that vehicle, the bank is most likely going to require you to carry what we call full coverage, not only liability, but comprehensive and collision, etc. You need to make sure you understand all the different types of insurance on your vehicles. Now, a small tip for those of you that have adult children like me. Your adult children don't necessarily want to have them on your policy, at least in our humble opinion. Help your kids get their own policies once they become adults. So most states, that's the age of 18. It's actually 19 here in Nebraska. Even if you're going to pay the liability insurance for them or pay the full freight of it, you want to have that policy separated from yours. Why? Because the likelihood that they're involved in an accident between 18 and 25 is 75% greater than it is for you, an adult over the age of 30. Again, this can help reduce your insurance premiums and reduce risk for you. Then let's talk about the next type of homeowners or insurance most people have, and that's homeowners insurance. If you own your home, you most likely are going to have insurance on it in case something happens. You have a fire, a hail damage to the roof, etc. You have to have this coverage if you have a mortgage on the property. Your mortgage company is going to require it. In fact, they will actually issue the insurance if they find out you don't have coverage. Once you pay your house off, it's up to you if you want to insure it. For most people, we recommend you would want to insure your home. But again, there's a lot of different types of coverage on your home, and most people are drastically underinsured if they had to rebuild their home today. Why is that? Well, supply chain disruption that came about after the pandemic of COVID and inflationary pressures have created a real backlog of materials flowing through, and the cost of labor has gone through the roof. So if someone were to have to rebuild your house from scratch, if it burned down tomorrow, unfortunately, it's going to cost more than its current market value to actually build that home. So you need to work with a competent insurance professional. We have one here if you need it, but call your insurance professional and make sure you have adequate dwelling coverage. Because if you bought your home for $200,000 10 years ago, it may be worth $500,000 today, and your dwelling coverage may only be $250,000 or $300,000. Well, if it burnt down, you might be in for a big shock if you don't get your actual entire house rebuilt. So make sure you understand the type of coverage you have on your home and you're adequately covered for your desired amount of risk. And that brings us to the third type of insurance that we think everybody should consider having, and that's what's called an umbrella policy. This is an incredibly economical way to add additional insurance and reduce your risk and liability for typically very low premiums. You can get a $1 million umbrella policy. And we see umbrella, it's an umbrella going over and above the coverages of your home and auto insurance policies. So if you were to have a claim that breached the limits of your policy, the umbrella policy could kick in and then give you additional coverage. And a $1 million umbrella policy where I live is only about $100 a year. It's very inexpensive, and you may get $2 million, $3 million. As your net worth grows, this is something you're going to have to review with either your financial professional, your financial advisor, or your insurance professional every 2 or 3 years. Again, these are 3 main types of insurance most folks are going to need at some point. Now, there's a 4th kind if you do not happen to own your home, or you own one home but you rent another. Maybe it's a vacation home or a rental property. You may look into what's called renter's insurance. This is great if you have adult kids that are going away to college and are going to be living in an apartment or a dorm. You can purchase very inexpensively what's called renter's insurance to cover their personal belongings and contents if that facility dwelling were to burn down or have significant damage from an event, because the owner's policy will only make the owner whole. It will not make the tenant or the student whole. So a simple renter's policy can really help save you if your kid's away at college, in a dorm, apartment, etc. Make sure, again, you're working with a competent insurance professional to understand all the various types of insurance that you have. And for more valuable information, follow this channel.